Just wanted to put this out here real quick. There's a greater, more detailed investigation that's going on, that's taking place, but I at least wanted to get this information out to you. It was brought to me. Shout out to Moray Dwayne with Hebrew Connect TV .tv, who brought this up to my attention as well. And this is just something that's going, that's making its rounds through social media. Of course, what I tell people is that social media is way ahead of mainstream media. A lot of mainstream media is controlled, bought, and paid for by the opposition. And so that's why a lot of these truths, we don't expect it to ever see the light of day over in mainstream media. So that's why we keep, at least for me, I try to keep watch over on social media, because a lot of these truths that are coming out is coming out on that side of the fence. All right, I think somebody says no video. Let me check. I think everybody, you all see the video? You should have video on your screen. I just want to double check. Yeah, I got video on my screen as well. So if you don't have video, just do a refresh and see if that works. All right, I got some thumbs up. So it looks like we're good. All right, but hey, just get back to it. Like I said, I'm not going to keep you long here, fam. I just want to bring this up to your attention. And of course, as you can see in the title, looks like there's some things that's coming out on the Epstein video, this Epstein investigation. And just for the benefit of those that are saying, all right, so, why are we, as, using air quotes here, African Americans, worried about this Epstein stuff? That's their stuff, right? That's, these other ethnicities. But what I want to bring to your attention, family, is one is not, two is within the African American community, our community is the one that has been hit the hardest with trafficking, child trafficking, young ladies being kidnapped, even young men being kidnapped, but for predominantly, young ladies being kidnapped. So this is one of those things where the African American community is leading the charge when it comes to child trafficking. And this is why, at least for me, I believe this is one of those things where, all of the African American leaders, community at large, needs to be paying attention to us, because we have children disappearing from our communities, whether it be over here in the States or abroad. Because that's another thing that I want to show you, is that, a lot of these children, they're not just, being, or coming up missing or being trafficked here in the States. We also see another thing I want to show you, Most High willing, is, over in the Caribbean, right? A lot of these billionaires, they are, Epstein isn't the only one that has purchased an island. In fact, he has two islands. He has Little St. James and he has Greater St. James. And actually, I think I got it on my screen here. Hang on one second. Yep. So Little St. James, you see it right here. And he also bought this one, Greater St. James. And Epstein isn't the only billionaire that has purchased islands. In fact, throughout all this territory, there are a lot of billionaires that have purchased a lot of islands on here. So in other words, Epstein isn't the only one, is my point. And then the other point I want to bring to your attention, family, is in these areas where these billionaires have these islands, these private islands, there's also an epidemic of Black folks going missing, in these neighboring islands. Right. Let's take I'm trying to remember the name of this island. Let me see. I believe it's a little bit further down. I got to pull this right here. This island right here. That island right here, family, they have a problem, or they're having a problem with kids going missing in that island. Again, in these islands that are around these private islands of these billionaires, Black folks, not white folks, Black folks, Black kids are either going missing or Black kids are being trafficked. That's why I believe that this is just one of those things where this is one of those things that we just have to pay attention to. And, I did have this scripture up, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall come, where my glasses at, except there come a falling away first, and that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. And I believe that we are in that time, family, that day in time where the son of perdition is being revealed. We're beginning to see the depths of the the wickedness of this, ruling class, these ruling elites, and we'll get into probably some of this stuff at a later date as to, the consumption of human flesh, the consumption of blood. There's even something about with Puffy Combs that I want to review with you as well, just to show you that the way that these actors and actresses and billionaires and millionaires are trying to stay young, it's not just putting on, some sort of facial cream. They believe in drinking the blood of folks, right? They believe in drinking the blood of folks. So again, that's not the, the topic of discussion for tonight, but just know, family, that there is a wicked ruling class that, the covers are being pulled off, and we're starting to see, hey, they got their hands in all this stuff, and you're starting to see how wicked these guys are. All right. So anyway, like I said, just want to bring that up to you, just let you see that, let you know that this is a problem within our community. And to that end, let me show you just a few things. So one of the things that's going on in social media is that they're saying that in the Epstein files, that there is also some signs that on Epstein Island or wherever, because Epstein, where the child trafficking took place, it was not just on his island. It was actually they said that it was also at his ranch. It was also in New York. It was just various different places. A lot of folks are focusing on the islands, but just wanted you to know that it is all over the place. But on Epstein's islands, one of the things that was showing up on X is that they were engaging in some games with black folks on the island. Basically, they were hunting black folks on the island. I'm going to show you this in a second, which is interesting because I showed this video here before. And this is a video of this is like a place that has a pool. As you can see, has all these different buildings, some doors that are secured or locked. And this video basically is just going to kind of show you around. I'm going to skip ahead here when it comes back up to the pool. And one of the comments that I pointed out was like, hey, as much as Epstein does not like black folks, and what you'll see in some of these emails, that he does not like black folks, right? He's using the N-word and with the hard R and all this other stuff. But he has this one picture, this one sculpture in his, prominently in the pool area. It is a person of African descent hunting. He has an arrow, just like hunter games, the hunting games, right? So the Hunger Games, right? So this was just one of the things that stood out to me. I was like, man, I guess he just likes, a picture of black folks hunting on his island. That is strange. But aside from that, let's take a look at, let me stop sharing the screen. I'm going to switch and I'm going to pull up some documents that I downloaded from the Epstein files. So, and I'm also going to show you how to do this yourself too, family, because it is, it's one of those things where you should, if you have extra time, if you have free time, that you should be able to pull these up in your free time and do some searches and, just to see what's there. And let me see here. I got, let me pull up my screen. So I'm going to share this first document with you. Not that one. Let's do, finally, got it up. All right. So just wanted to review some things. Now, these things come from the Epstein document or the Epstein files. And this is from the Department of Justice website. So I want to go over just a few things with you. And this part of this email is just to show you that Epstein was not just hanging out in these, Caucasian places. He was going through Africa. And one of the videos I shared with you all the last time, if you saw the video, and that is in Africa, they also have a problem with kids missing. They were snatching kids as they were going off to school. So one of the things I wanted to show you was Epstein was going through Africa, and then this one particular one, you see an Africa tour route. You can see where he's stopping in Senegal and Niger, right? Gabon, Togo, all these different places, Ivory Coast, Guinea. So these are places where Epstein's stopping. Who's he picking up? Who's getting on off the planes, right? But just want to show you that he was there. Also want to show you, I'm not going to read this out loud, but you can see it on your screen at the very bottom, is that when you go through these emails, they picture Negroes in a certain way. African Americans, you can see the N with the hard R. This is the way they were talking about black folks in the Epstein documents. So just to show you that, he didn't think he had a very negative view when it came to black folks. The people in his circle did, these millionaires and billionaires. This is how they were talking. This is how they were joking. Again, the black community, I'm not sure how many of us have looked through here, but I have a feeling that not too many have, because back in the old days, this would be something that the NAACP would have taken a look at. They would have raised the red flag. They would have been like, oh, wait a minute. You got some racists up in here. You guys have to be held accountable for that sort of stuff. But I just want to show you, and I'll actually show you here in a moment too, is that the N with the hard R is, you can find it in multiple places in the Epstein documents. People aren't talking about that. Again, so what would these millionaires and billionaires do to a people that they think is lower than dirt on these deserted islands? What would they do to them? Right? Out of the reach of the authority, right? What would they do to them? Ask yourself that question. And the problem is that what people started to notice, families, when they started to go through these Epstein documents, they started seeing these references to a hunt. Now, a hunt, if you don't have the context of the full, email, and unfortunately we don't, a hunt could be anything. Hunting for food, hunting for women, right? It's all about context. And so in some of these emails, we don't they could actually be on a safari, or it could be something more dangerous and more sinister. So if you look on here, you'll see that it says, thanks. And this is from Rothschild, something D Rothschild, right? Thanks, thrilling hunt. And got it. Amazing old male, an amazing hunt. My bankers should be careful. Well, what is he talking about? Right? Or what is he or she talking about? I don't know if that's a male or female. But just wanted to show you that through some of these emails, they started to find some of these references to a hunt. Going to mean Lana's party now to hunt. That could be hunting for a female, or it could be something else. Again, these millionaires and billionaires, they have these islands throughout the Caribbean, private islands. What are they doing on these islands? This is Halloween. This could be hunting for candy. Yes, Jeffrey, we are going to hunt. Happy Halloween. What is evil, wicked Jeffrey Epstein? What's this have to do with hunt? Who is he hunting? That's the question. Here's another one. Also, text eunuch. If he is there, I can go along. Getting ready for the hunt. Again, in these references, in these emails, references to hunt. Landing strip. And this morning hunt. Very, very hot, but so much better than cold Europe. Just got to figure out what's going on. Is this talking about girls? It says, can we talk about a treasure hunt for the girls? That seems like that's talking about a treasure hunt, right? You have a description right in front of the word hunt, right? So that seems like that might be straightforward. And this is talking about a butcher. They had this weird email about a butcher opening up a shop, right? All this talking about cannibalism. And they got to talk about this butcher opening up a shop, hoping that he's serving steaks and hamburgers. That's an email for another day. But let's see here. This one says, and I think I put this one in here just to show you that, again, you can see the reference all the way at the bottom. Jesus is a trick on N-words with a hard R. These are the Jeffrey Epstein documents, family. This isn't just about white folks. This is about black folks. This is about black folks going missing, and this is about them referring to us as ends with the hard R's. And the question is, what do they do to ends with the hard R's when they have no law enforcement, when they have no oversight? Well, so let's take a look at a couple of things. This also comes from the Epstein document, and I'm going to see if I can read this. Let me back up. I know it might be small on your screen, so I'm just going to read it. Now, again, context is everything. You know, we're being given these bits and pieces of these conversations, and we don't know what's going on. So we have a bunch of emails talking about hunting. I'm going hunting this, hunting that. We don't really know what it's talking about. Then we got these these emails talking about predator and prey, like this one right here. I'm not going to start at the top. I'm just going to jump probably halfway towards the bottom. It says the predator, in mathematical terms, needs to capture the free energy of the prey for a cost benefit analysis that enables it to take in more than it expends in capturing it. If I have to burn 300 calories in running each time to catch a 200-calorie prey, eventually I run out of energy in that strategy. I have to find, may randomly, as evolution would suggest, a benefit greater than the cost. If, as predator, I can read the intention, protection, and defense of the prey simply by mental calculation, without much calorie expenditure, I have increased my odds of winning. If by deception, the prey can fool me and have me either expend a greater amount of energy for trying to catch it or mislead me into thinking so. So you got to think. So a prey that would mislead a person to thinking that it's going to try to catch it, that has to be a pretty wise prey. Right, a prey that can actually, think. Right, these aren't animalistic preys that we're talking about. We're talking about a prey that has a high level of thought. It's one that would mislead him into thinking so. And it says the prey gets to live another day. The battle to survive then should rely on well-experienced methods of attack and deception, as Darwin exercised. So basically, family, I'm just saying that there's really odd language in these documents that are hinting at hunts and hinting at games of hunting with prey and hunters, prey and predators. And now I'm going to switch screens just for a moment. We'll probably come back here because there's another one that I want to read to you. But at this point, I want to show you. Let me stop sharing the screen. We're going to hop over to the Department of Justice. I want you to see this real time. Let's see. All right. So now for this exercise, we are going to go over to the U.S. Department of Justice. And this is something that you can do on your own as well. So these are the Epstein files, Epstein library. It'll ask you, are you 18 years of age or older? You say yes. Verified. Thank you very much. So now you can search the full Epstein dictionary or library. What do you search for? Type in SNIP, snipe as in sniper. Search. You're going to get back some documents. The very first one that comes back should be 580261. Click on that. Again, context is everything. This is what shows up. This is what was making its rounds over on social media. Now, the subject line of this email says, snipe hunt is over. Moon crickets in the field bag. Guess what? They're N-words. So people saw this and they were like, whoa. Snipe hunt? All right, sniper hunt? What was that? Moon crickets in the bag, in the field bag? Guess what? They're N-words. This now, because this one is a direct relationship between N-words with the hard R, derogatory term, lower than dirt, and the word hunt in the same email. So this one, of course, like I said, it set off alarm bells over on X. Some people were going through this and they were like, hey, we need to figure out what this is. Whether it's a game that they were playing, whether it's a, I don't know, you come up with whatever rationale you want to come up with, family. But this needs to be explained. And let me also go back because I just want to show you this as well. You can actually even just type in the N word with the hard R, search. You can see it's throughout. Now, some of these are, I guess somebody was making a joke, and I think this was maybe they were quoting a comedian or something like that, a black comedian. But in either case, you can see that there's plenty of N words with a hard R, not just one page, not just 2 pages, not just 3 pages, not just 4 pages. So what I'm saying, family, is, this is just something that just, it requires some additional research. And Most High willing, and you can see, look, Dan, they got a term for it, Dan. You can see it there on your screen. Now, I apologize for any kids that are watching. I should have given a viewer discretion advised. So viewer discretion advised if you have any young ones. I'm not going to say these words out loud, but it is on the screen. And so if they're good readers, they can see it. But I apologize for that, fan. I should have told you that up front. But in any case, you can see they even have these little terms for us. So, yeah. So anyway, that's in the Epstein files. So I just want you to see it with your own eyes that is in the Epstein files. And it requires some additional research. So we're still digging into this, family. As you know, that there are still, over 3 million documents still not released. I think the Department of Justice also mentioned that when they released, this batch of documents, that they withheld the ones that had videos of people being unalive, of kids being unalive, of babies being unalive. They withheld the videos of cannibalism. They withheld those videos, and they said that up front. It's like, hey, we don't want to put this out there. We just gonna hold these back. We just gonna let this go. This is internet safe, right? So, of course, I want to see them to see if there are any people of color in those videos. I mean, granted, it shouldn't be anybody, right? Whether black, brown, blue, or yellow, right? Anybody, anyone gets unalive, any kid gets unalive, that sort of thing should be addressed. But I just think that, the black community as a whole is kind of looking at this as if this isn't our fight, or as if this isn't affecting our community, when in fact it is. In fact, there could be parts of this hunting game that's on their islands, snatching brown babies, brown people out of Africa, out of the Caribbean, taking them to these islands and hunting them, eating them, doing whatever, right? So just want to make sure that, this is on folks' radar. Don't count on the NAACP to take this up anytime soon. They've been AWOL for a long time. They've been compromised for a long time. They actually been bought out by the millionaires and billionaires, in my opinion. That's why you haven't seen or heard no peep from them. So this is something that, that you and I are going to have to do, Most High willing. At least just, we're in the research phase, family, the investigation phase. So again, if you have time, definitely go through. I encourage you to go through these files. You just really, it's just a matter of just doing searches. Just anything you can think of, any terms you can think of to search for, use those. Just to see if those come up, and just click on some of these PDF files and see what you get. So that's it, family. Like I said, I just wanted to show you that. And then the other one was, I did want to show you this real quick before you hop off, just to show you that some of this stuff is in code. It's not always straightforward. So let me pull this one back up. I just want to show you that some of the reason why some of this stuff doesn't show up right away is, let me do pictures, is because it's in code, like this one. So this one is from Jeffrey Epstein himself. And it says, and you can see he's kind of talking in code. So at first is you know, it reads as normal. Understood. The only interesting thing was quick equals decision. Somehow leads to a better decision. Throwing away the T equals E, tails. By the way, we got something that's redacted, and it says something equals C2 was great. Sat like a lion about to pounce on his equal in prey, his prey. Equal in his prey. Now, I just showed you an email where he talked about hunting in with the hard R's. And in this one, it says, sat like a lion about to pounce, equal in his prey. What is that? I don't know. We need more context. We need more information. And it says, and the prey began to quiver, equals equals AO. You know, all this stuff in code, you know, we can't really understand what it means because we don't have the context, right? So I just wanted to show you that, like I said, I just want to show you that is why some of this stuff isn't found easily or readily, because some of this stuff is in code. All right. Well, that's it, family. Like I said, just wanted to show you that, just show you that one, you know, this is a problem within, you know, both the white community and the black community, all the communities with all these children that are being missing. Just don't want black folks to kind of sit on the side thinking that that's not, you know, our problem. But I just want to show you that it is. The African-American community leads in this child trafficking thing. They lead it, family. They lead it here in the States. And then, of course, over in Africa, they have the same problem. Over in the Caribbean, they have the same problem. And over in the Caribbean, where they have these millionaires and billionaires, even in the islands around those millionaires and billionaires, they're having the same problem as well. So, and hey, we just got to figure out, most high willing, that stuff, all this stuff comes out into the light, and we can see exactly what they were doing to our people over in those islands. All right. Well, that's it. All right. Well, peace and blessings. Enjoy the rest of your evening. The investigation continues as we get more of this information, decipher more of this information. We'll just I'll just put this out for you just to, as an FYI, and we'll go from there. You know, we know the Most High is going to get the glory. We know that in the end, the enemy will be defeated, and the children of the Most High will be victorious. Hallelujah. All right. Well, enjoy your rest of your evening. Enjoy your Shabbat, and talk to you later. Peace and shalom.